All right, Shalom. Excuse me. I want to start off by giving all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Shema, Shabbat, Shem, Rakakwadash, double honors to the apostles and elders, great millstone, Shalom to all the Achamat, pushing the word of sincerity and truth. And you'll see the title of the lesson. That's what I'm going into, Operation Dark Winter. It's gonna be a heavy winter this winter that we're in, and excuse me. You saying it for brothers that watched Donald Trump and Joe Biden when they had their press conference, they had the presidential debates. One thing that Joe Biden said that stood out, and it stood out to me in particular, was he was basically saying how Donald Trump has been shunning the public from the real problem of this coronavirus. He played it off. He made it seem like it wasn't going to come to the United States, and if it was going to come to the United States, it was on top of it. And then, this is what he was speaking about to Donald Trump, and he's been basically filibustering the whole time, President Trump, at the time. So, he was saying that, here it is, we're finna go into a very, very dark winter. I was like, damn, how he emphasized that. It was just like, yo, that's true. It's gonna be something that's gonna be very heavy. And anytime wintertime hits, people that have weakened immune systems, people that people mainly get sicker during the wintertime. That's why the winter season, a lot of people drink teas, a lot of soups, and like I said, a lot of people definitely get a lot sicker around this time of the year. A lot of flu seasons, and a lot of people contract a lot of sicknesses. During this time of the year, a lot of people are in the bed, or they have to call off of work, But what makes matters that much worse is you have a the coronavirus, the actual virus that's actually spiraling out of control. And America doesn't have it under control. I was just now watching this video earlier today with Kamala Harris and President Biden, and they were speaking about the food crisis. There's a hunger crisis that's all over the world. Large percentage of Americans are not able to feed themselves. And then you have, which I seen also today, government assistance, government aid programs are starting to be shut down. You see? So, hey, these are the prophecies, man, where it speaks about a famine, it speaks about death, it speaks about pestilence, it speaks about all these treacherous events that's going to take place and how you have to be prepared. All right. And what I was looking into, I was on the website Blacklisted News, not Blacklisted, the End of the American Dream, and they were speaking about this Operation Dark Winter, which, like I said, Biden spoke about Dark Winter, and they actually had an Operation Dark Winter that took place, which was a mock drill to deal with terrorism, terrorist attack. So this is Operation Dark Winter. Operation Dark Winter was the code name for, a senior level bioterrorist attack simulation conducted on June 22nd and 23rd, 2001. It was designed to carry out a mock version of a covert and widespread smallpox attacks on the U.S. Tara O'Toole and Thomas Inglesby of Johns Hopkins Center for Civilian Biodefense Strategies, Center for Strategic and International Studies, and Randy Larson and Mark Demir of Analytic Services were the principal designers, authors, and controller of the Dark Winter project. Right. So this was a conducted experiment, which was Operation Dark Winter. And when you go into this guy Biden speaking about, we're going to actually, go into a very, very dark winter, that's really a code. That's code terminology, man. Like I said before, that was code name for a actual simulation that dealt with bioterrorism from a smallpox or a pestilence outbreak that was to take place. All right. And it already was conducted in the United States in 2001.
And we see, and it's not even speculation. Did the coronavirus actually just pop up out of nowhere, or was it government? Man, it was government created. That's a fact. That's a fact, man. There's so many things I've been seeing, books, publications and videos of individuals speaking about coronavirus. I seen a video earlier today. It was I think it was, I forget what year it came out, but it was a couple of years ago, and they said it was like an outfit somebody had on. They told them to put their mask on, and it was called like the COVID. So, is that coincidental? All right, and then it's so many things. They actually had certain books that actually came about, spoken about a disease that was gonna come out of Wuhan, China, and then it would basically go away, and then it would come back a couple of years later. Now, I don't know as far as that going away and coming back years later, but what I do know is, according to the story, they did say that the coronavirus came from Wuhan. All right, so this was basically government sponsored. It was government created to actually push this sickness outbreak, to actually push Esau's New World Order. This white man has an agenda, man. And everything was already ordained first and foremost by Yahweh Shema Shah, the Heavenly Father. And then you have these devils that already predicted it. You watch the Simpsons episodes, you see all kind of predictions, and as well as various other TV shows and things within the media, and it already shows these events taking place. So I'm going to read a little bit more. It says, Dark Winter was focused on evaluating the inadequacies of a national emergency response during the use of a biological weapon against the American populace. Right, and is this not a biological weapon that's actually being used against the American population? You see how the population is being hit. You could go to Worldometer and you could actually see how many people are dying, man. I was just seeing that the coronavirus is spiking here in Georgia, as well as New York and all these other places. And they were speaking about the curb was flattened. A couple months ago, they kept repeating, yeah, the curb is flattened. It was flatten the curb, flatten the curb. There's being spikes, man. All right, and it's going to get to the point where, all right, the governments, whether, your state leaders, your mayors, your governors, your presidents, are not going to be able to control this virus outbreaks. All right, it don't matter how much PPE, protective equipment that you have, how many face masks, how many respirators and things of that nature you have within the American inventory. Is not going to be enough, and that's why they're looking at the vaccine, which that vaccine is going to be linked to the chip, man. Whether it's going to be actually directly the chip or it's going to be a precursor for that mark of the beast. This is the form of conditioning. This is stage 1, operation 1. All right, and Esau is going to keep moving up the ladder till he got you Jakes fully in the box. All right, and I was just now saying that where they're speaking about who they're going to look in the vaccine first, which they was already speaking about you blacks being vaccine first. So this whole thing is about control, man.
So it says that exercise was intended to establish preventive measures and response strategies by increasing governmental and public awareness of the magnitude and potential of such a threat posed by biological weapons. And this is the scenario. Dark Winter simulation scenario involved an initial localized smallpox attack on Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, with additional smallpox attack cases in Georgia and Pennsylvania. Yeah, and here in Georgia, we have the CDC, and majority of these disease outbreak-based television shows, it takes place here in Georgia. That's not coincidence. You watch the show The Walking Dead. You watch, I think, Containment was filmed here in Georgia, as well as a lot of others. This is really like a pandemic-based state, post-apocalyptic biological, sickness-based, movie state. A lot of them come out here in Atlanta. Like I said, we have the Center for Disease Control, and I believe it's going to be major cases of sickness that's going to take place here. You watch these different zombie apocalypse movies. I believe this place is going to get hit very, very heavy here in the state of Georgia.
It says the simulation was then designed to spiral out of control. Did not the coronavirus spiral out of control? This would create a contingency in which the National Security Council struggled to determine both the origin of the attack, and they are struggling to see the origin of the attack. You had Trump blaming the World Health Organization, all right, as well as deal with containing the spreading virus, and they're having a very, very hard time containing this spreading virus, the coronavirus, by not being able to keep pace with the disease's rate of spread. A new catastrophic contingency emerges in which massive civilian casualties would overwhelm America's emergency response capabilities. This is exactly what's happening right now as we speak. The emergency response capabilities are not keeping up with the amount of casualties. You know, this Operation Dark Winter, because what happens in the wintertime? You have a lot of, like I said, a lot of sicknesses, as well as a lot of holidays and gatherings. You know, was listening to the radio. They were saying if you actually got with a lot of family members on Thanksgiving, basically move like you have the coronavirus. And what's next to come? And then you had the Black Fridays, which a lot of stores were looking to shut down. You know, these different Black Friday sales, but a lot of people were still going out. You know, mixing. You know, in the public to actually get certain sales within these different department stores. You know, and then you have right around the corner also, Christmas. All right, Christmas is going to be a large gathering. A lot of people are going to be slated not to leave their states, but a lot of people are going to do so anyways. All right, so that they can gather with the family, which is going to elevate the emergency response, levels. I just seen even in these hospitals here in Georgia, because, you know, I live in the state, of course, the hospitals are spiking. All right, it's not going down. It's not, like I said, the curve's not being flattened. It's actually going up. I'm going to read a little bit more on this. The disastrous contingencies that will result in the massive loss of civilian life were used to exploit the weakness of the U.S. healthcare infrastructure. And who's being hardest hit in this whole takeoff? The United States of America. Like I said, when you go to Worldometers, America is leading number one in coronavirus sicknesses by very, very far. Number two is not even coming close to America. And its inability to handle such a threat, the contingencies were also meant to address the widespread panic that would emerge and which result in mass social breakdown. We've been seeing that. And mob violence. We've been seeing that. Exploits would also include the many difficulties that the media will face when providing American citizens with the necessary information regarding safety procedures. We went through all of that. Like I said, you had the you had the coronavirus task force, you had Dr. Fauci, and you had President Trump going back and forth. They was having a lot of feuds. You had the hashtag Fire Fauci, which he's supposed to be the head of the basically the medical response team, and they didn't, and I think Burks was also another individual. And it's been a frenzy on how to actually deal and respond properly, go through actual safety procedures with this sickness. All right, a lot of states have been beefing and feuding, and you see some of them shut down their governments, which is leading to a high suicide rate. So you have different states blaming other states for a high level of suicides. In other states, a lot of people are dying, and they're being blamed. Hell, Trump blamed Cuomo for shutting down New York City. And you see New York City is looking like a damn ghost town, as well as California. A lot of people are moving out of these states. All right. It says, discussing the outcome of Dark Winter, Brian Walsh noted that the timing just a few months before the 9/11 attack was eerily prescient, as if the organizers had foreseen how the threat of terrorism, including bioterrorism, would come to consume the United States government and public in the years to come. So, that was really the main point. I'm pretty sure there's still a lot more meaty points within this. But I want to go into this last point. This is under the summarization of the findings. So, number one, it says, an attack of the United States with biological weapons could threaten vital national security interests. and I'm going to jump down a little bit. It says current organizational structures and capabilities are not well suited for the management of a biowarfare attack. Dark Winter revealed that major fault lines exist between different levels of government, federal, state, and locals. And that was true. That's true. That's what's going on now between government and the private sector, among different institutions and agencies, and within the public and private sector. Leaders are unfamiliar with the character of bioterroristic attacks, available policy options, and their consequences. Federal and state priorities may be unclear, differ, or conflict. Authorities may be uncertain, and constitutional issues may arise. For example, state leaders wanted control of decisions regarding the imposition of disease containment measures, mandatory versus voluntary isolation and vaccines. We've been going through that. The closure of state borders to all traffic and transportation, and when or whether to close airports. Now, this is crazy. This is like I said, I was going into it earlier, but it's like this made this said this term. It's very eerie how perfectly aligned this is to the sickness outbreak that we're going through now. It says, and when or whether to close airports. Federal officials, on the other hand, argue that such issues were best decided on a national basis to ensure consistency and to give the president maximum control of military and public safety assets. Leaders in states most affected by smallpox wanted immediate access to smallpox vaccines for all citizens of their states, and it's the same thing with this coronavirus. They want immediate access, and they use smallpox, as a, like I said, it was just a simulation, and they use that as the disease of choice. But we see that the disease of choice is really this coronavirus. But the federal government had to balance these requests against military and other national priorities. State leaders was opposed to federalizing the National Guard, which they were relying on to support logistical and public supply needs. We was going through that too. The Federal National Guard actually was supposed to deal with the logistics and the public supply needs. All right, while a number of federal leaders argued that the National Guard should be federalized. And it says there's no surge capabilities in the United States healthcare and public health systems or in the pharmaceutical and vaccine industries. And like I said, there's so much meat in this. I'm just, skimming, but it's so much meat in this, it's definitely a must read, for the brothers that, clicked on the video to watch. But it says, should a contagious bioweapon pathogen be used, containing their spread of disease will present significant ethical, political, cultural, operational, and legal challenges. We've been seeing these challenges take place within the prison center, within the when you're dealing with cultural, within different people, within their living conditions. I was looking at how the coronavirus was basically bombarding the people in the Amazonian region, and they're blaming the the so-called powers that be. Like I said, you have the prison systems going through, the medical industries that's going through it, racists going through it, blacks and Latinos within the ghettos. It's harder to contain these different sicknesses, especially their work environments. They saying those places are being hardest hit. Political, we've been seeing even presidents and their staffs, and people in the cabinet actually contracting this sickness, and they have to have these different press conferences, and there's all kind of debates on social distances, how they should be when the actual voting took place. A lot of people was pissed off how the votes took place. All right, rather they was doing it online, through mail-in ballots, actually lining up. They said that was basically a bad situation, a scenario to go through. But what was clear was, it was a challenge. It was a hardship for these different government powers to control this sickness. All right. It says, in Dark Winter, some members advised the imposition of geographical quarantines around affected areas, but the implications of these measures, interruption of the normal flow of medicine, food and energy supplies, and other critical needs were not clearly understood at first. And they weren't. In the end, it is not clear whether such draconian measures would have led to a more effective interruption of disease spread. What's more, allocation of scarce resources necessitates some degree of rationing, creating conflict and significant debate between participants representing competing interests. And you have the key participants, which is the president, the national security advisor, the director of Central Intelligence, Security of Defense, chairman, Security of Health and Human Resource Services, Secretary of State, Attorney General, basically the different people within the government body. And like I said, this is a very and they actually even had Operation Dark Winter within the Tom Clancy. Tom Clancy's The Division, which Tom Clancy also made Splinter Cell. So Lord Will Not could actually pull up Operation Dark Winter within this and maybe post it on my page, Lord willing. So, there you have it. That was the simulation, and we see that this same thing is taking place right now. This devil has created this disease outbreak as a trial run. We've been saying it time and time again, and you're having all kind of articles and publications that already were stated and established years prior to actually show what would be brought forth now. All right, and then Yahweh Shah said that, before things spring forth, I tell you of them. And he'll tell you throughout the media, not only through prophecies, he'll tell you through individuals. That's the beauty of Yahweh Shah. Yahweh Shah's word is, his breath rules all throughout. So this is the article that inspired me to actually find it on Wikipedia. Dark Winter was the code name for a scenario in which a biological weapon was used against the American populace. Like I said, you could go into it and read it. Lord willing, may do a second part to it and reweigh it from this article standpoint. But there you have it. Isaiah 60:1. Arise, shine, for thy light is come, and the glory of the Lord is risen upon thee. For behold, the darkness shall cover the earth, and gross darkness the people. What's that darkness? That people being amassed by not having the true knowledge, wisdom, and understanding of Yahweh Shema Shai, and basically the truth on the whole. A lot of people don't know what the hell is going on no type of level, because they're not prepared. They're not being told what's truly going on. They don't have the understanding of prophecy, and they're mainly just sheeple. That's why when this vaccine actually unravels, people are going to be rushing to take this vaccine. People are going to bust it. You think the PlayStation 5 was a frenzy? This vaccine, when it comes out, people are going to go freaking bananas, man. It's not going to be all right, we're going to push it on you. Mandatory. It's going to be people. It's going to be so many lines of people that's going to be lined up, whether it's you actually apply for it online or you actually go to these different medical departments, but people are going to go crazy to get it because they live in darkness. They don't understand the light. They don't understand the prophecy of Yahweh Shema Shai. We have the light. All right. And we understand having the light and having the vision, seeing things ahead of the curve, what's to take place. This devil actually, coming to break down you jakes. Revelation 12:12. Therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil, which is the deceiver, liar, trickster, is come down unto you. Yeah, and the devil represents these different government leaders, man. Just like the devil came down upon John and they passed legislation to persecute the Jews and throw him in prison for the rest of his life, the devil is going to use the same tactics and operations to take us down, man. All right. And that's us as a nation and the elect. For the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he have but a short time. Right. So Esau knows he has but a short time. And he's going to come down with, he's basically going to come down with the hand of hell, so to speak. And they already have the National Guard on deck. People are already desensitized with seeing big gun troopers in their neighborhood rolling down the street. You've seen the Chicago bridges being lifted up, but people have been used to seeing these things now. It's not like, all right, we have to get people ready and prepared. People are used to,
a draconian government. We're in a draconian state. Shutdowns. All right, you got to be in the house. You can't leave out. We're all you got to wear this face mask. You have to get your head scanned. All right, you can't go to this supermarket. I was just now going into what state was it? State is slipping my mind right now. I was in New Mexico. They shut down the grocery stores for 2 weeks. People are starting to get used to this. This is starting to become the new normal, where your grocery store, is being shut down for multiple weeks, man. And you have no say-sos, no ifs and a buts. Shortages at your different restaurants. You're going to get used to not being able to, eat certain things at certain places. All right? So we have to get ready. Us brothers got to prepare in the spirit of Yahweh Shema Shah, because we're in those times. So I want to end by giving all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh Shema Shah, by Shem Kakodash, the bonus of the apostle, elder great millstone, Shalom Makim.